We are still very much in an active search and rescue posture at this point, and we will continue to be for some time. There were likely multiple people on the bridge at the time of the collapse, and that as a result, multiple people were in the water. We may be looking for upwards of 7 individuals. That's the latest information we have.
It's the latest information now. Emergency services have rescued 2 people from the water, one with serious injuries. Governor Wes Moore has declared a state of emergency. Port and motor vehicle traffic has been suspended as rescue operations continue, with drivers advised to avoid the I-695 interstate. Bloomberg's Amy Morris joins us now from Washington. Amy, if we can talk about the latest, please, the search and rescue effort, just where are things currently?
I can tell you that the Port of Baltimore, the law enforcement officials, it's a multi-agency event that's going on right now, a mass casualty event. They are bringing in extra equipment from all over the state and from adjacent states to be able to find people under the water, to be able to find the cars that are under the water. They know there are more people under there. They're using everything from underwater vehicles to sonar to be able to try to locate these people. This is a port city. This is a port area. So they are prepared to go find people and to go rescue people who are underwater. Nothing could have prepared them for the collapse of the Key Bridge. This is a major part of an artery right through this part of the country. I mean, people who live in Washington, D.C. and drive to New York City, that's how they go. They take that bridge, and nothing could have prepared them for this.
Amy, it's going to take some time to establish a very clear picture of what happened here and just what went wrong. There'll be a series of investigations, I'm sure. They could be drawn out. But I think we've put together just a few pieces in the last hour or so as to what happened. Amy, what have we learned?
What we have learned is that the ship, which was licensed by Maersk and under the Singapore flag, had said that it was going through a loss of power, that it was going through some sort of trauma on the ship. You could see the black smoke billowing from it. And the video that you may have already seen of the ship hitting the part of the bridge where it collapsed, all the power was going out. You could see the lights going on and off. It was a mess. They were unable to steer the ship. And so they sent out that mayday, they sent out that call, and that's when they hit the bridge. Now, what remains to be seen is why the bridge collapsed the way it did. Instead of just one part of the bridge falling into the water, the bridge fell in a sequence of events. It was almost like a domino effect falling into the water. The bridge is lost. I mean, there are parts of it that are still sticking up, but they are calling this a total collapse of this bridge. That needs to be investigated as well.
In the meantime, Amy, can you give us a sense of where people are going to be rerouted? You said this is a major artery for everyone who lives in D.C. and in the entire region going from D.C. to New York. What does that mean for congestion there? And what does this mean for congestion at the port that is one of the biggest in the East Coast?
Well, there are detours that are in place. There are tunnels through Baltimore that people can take. However, those tunnels do not allow tractor trailers that are carrying hazardous materials. So all of those trucks will have to be inspected before they can enter the tunnels. That's an option, but it's a very congested option, and it's also going to involve all of these inspections and law enforcement there. So it's going to be very, very, very slow. There are maps already online for where people can follow to try to find their way around this collapsed bridge, going way out west of Baltimore to try to get around it. Most people, if they're having to commute because of work, they might be better off just working from home. We all know that we can do that in most cases, but this is causing a tremendous mess. People are being advised just to stay put until they can figure out a better routes for people.
Amy, can you tell us a little bit about what kind of federal and state response we'll see? Who's actually going to be working on the ground?
We already know that the FBI is on the ground there. And let me clarify something. There is absolutely no indication that this was intentional, that there was any malintent, that this is terrorism. That was one of the first questions that was asked. No, there's no indication of that. Still, the FBI is there because this is their gig. This is what they do. So the FBI is there. We've got state, local, and federal law enforcement, the Department of Transportation, Secretary Pete Buttigieg already been informed, already getting as much information as he can. His office is helping as well. You've got Coast Guard, you've got sonar and radar and the eyes in the skies, if you will. Everybody is actually all hands on deck for this because this is something that our area has really never seen before. It is it is highly unusual to have a landmark like the Key Bridge in Baltimore just disappear.